Hey everybody, welcome back to Reality with Vicki, and hopefully you had a good week from last week. I closed last week talking about traveling and why it's so important for us to get out, move about, and really center yourself with people, whether it's your spouse, your children. My children are adult children. My son is actually working remotely in Hawaii, and he's able to do that because he has an internet life insurance sales business. So he's able to work from anywhere. So he rented his place out, Airbnb, to some college students. And he then went to Hawaii back in July. He's been there and he'll be there till July of 2021. So I guess what do they say? The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree or something like that. So anyway, Michael is doing good. Brand's in North Carolina. She has not traveled at all. They did go to South Carolina at the end of the summer to the Montage there. They drove there with the kids and her being pregnant. Me, on the other hand, I've been flying all over the place. And if the airlines are okay with it, I'm okay with it. So the protocol that I've been doing has worked. I mean, I've been COVID-free so far, and I've been on probably 20 planes. They don't put somebody next to you. So if you're able to fly the custom comfort or the comfort section of Delta, it's 3 seats, aisle 3 seats. So I'm usually at the window. I don't have anybody to the right of me or the left of me. I have an empty seat in the middle, and then there's going to be somebody on the end. In theory, I've never really interacted with people on planes. I don't talk to them. I don't shake their hand. I don't ask them what they do for a living. I know there's a lot of people that have all these conversations on planes. I don't. I bring my own blanket. I put my headsets on. I have my mask on. I have my hand sanitizer. When I was going to see Brianna, I actually wore disposable gloves. And then on each flight, I put different gloves on. So when I got to her house, I knew my actual hands and fingers didn't touch anything because she just was bringing home a brand new baby. And then I washed my clothes right when I got to her house. She had a robe for me in the garage. I stripped down, put the robe on, throw the clothes in the wash, and it's worked. I mean, she brought home a brand new baby. She was fine with me holding him. I did get that special vaccine that's good for 10 years and the flu vaccine last month. And I've always gotten the flu vaccine. So whether that's right or wrong, I'm just saying what works for me. And I'm really careful about touching things. I don't touch my mouth or my eyes or, anything that could transmit that COVID virus. So when I get to the airport, I'm careful. I take my shoes off. I go through the TSA line. I'm actually clear now, so I could just do my eyeballs, look in this machine. Goes into clear, put my bag, my overnight bag on the conveyor belt with my purse in a basket. And I go to the gate and I sit there and I wait and I don't talk to anybody. I'm pretty private in that regard. And like I said, on the plane, they're not serving food. You get a little bag. Inside that baggie is water, usually cheese nips, which I don't like, so I throw them out. You can bring your own food on if you want. So if you have a long flight, you can bring your own food on. And then I just sit there. I don't use the restroom. I don't do anything. I've got a 5-hour flight to Brianna. If I lay over in Atlanta, it's 3.5 hours layover. I can use the restroom and then get on another 1.5-hour flight. So you can make this work for you if you are not on high alert to get COVID, because there are some people that have lung issues and have that low immune system. So I think I have a high immune system because I'm always traveling. I'm always out, and I've never let travel be something that I was fearful of. Coming to Mexico, let me talk to you about that for a minute. When I closed on this condo that I'm currently at right now, this is my den office that you're seeing. I closed remotely because I couldn't get to Mexico. Mexico had closed the borders. That was in March or April, somewhere beginning of April. So I closed remotely. I was very scared. I wanted to pull out of the contract a couple times, but I would have lost my earnest money, which was a lot of money. So I just decided to do it, pray about it, and hopefully that it would work out. And once I got here, which was in July, I had hired somebody to come paint and clean up and get rid of all the other furniture that was in here because they couldn't come to close either. So it was this strange thing. They couldn't get their belongings. Their drawers were filled with their personal items. So we had to discard all that. And we gave a lot to some foster homes around here and some schools. And it was really kind of nice to deliver bedding and things to people in need. But what I found was Mexico, if you haven't been here yet, is actually very clean. They do take your temperature. You have to fill out a COVID form when you land. Have you been exposed to COVID? Have you had COVID? Have you had the vaccine? I mean, it's a pretty in-depth questionnaire. You have to hand it to the people at customs when you show them your passport. They go through each line item. You better be telling the truth because somehow, some way that's connecting back to your health records in America. So I want to be honest and truthful. And I've heard that to be true. I'm going to believe it's true unless I hear otherwise. But I'm hearing that what you're filling out needs to be truthful and honest, and they're going to cross-check it. So I haven't had COVID yet, thank God, knock on wood. But I've been exposed to people that have had COVID over the Christmas holidays. Steve's niece found out 2 days after we were all with her. There was probably 10 to 15 people at Steve's mom's house, and none of us got COVID after we found out she was testing positive. Whether that was a fluke, whether we were all precaution, we all wore masks at Christmas. When we drank kind of off in the corner, and we would come back, get our waters or whatever we were having, a glass of wine. But we were very careful. We were very conscious about it. So coming here to Mexico, I thought the customs line was going to be abandoned. I really didn't think there'd be a lot of flights coming in with people due to the COVID scare. We had 4 or 5 planes land at the same time. The line was in and out. It took me about an hour to get through customs, where normally it takes me earlier months 10 minutes. So it showed to me that people are now starting to feel okay traveling. And if we can feel okay traveling, we're going to then bring the economy back, because here in Mexico, this is a tourist economy. If the tourists don't show up, the restaurants close, the taxi drivers don't have a job, the Uber drivers don't have a job. The entire economy is built on tourism. So that is something that I'm very aware of, because I've contributed a lot of money to Mexico, and I've helped build a church, and there's a lot of things that I am embedded with this place, because it's pretty incredible. But I see the destruction and damage it does when tourism doesn't continue. So I'm just saying what works for me. If that doesn't work for you, then you don't do it. But I'm saying to you, the people that have come here, my friends, my family, their fears kind of go away, because the Mexican government and the protocol is so strict. You get your hands sanitized. Every restaurant has a white tablecloth on it, knowing that that's been sanitized. When you sit down, they take the white tablecloth off, and that goes into a bin that gets sent off to be sanitized. They don't reuse that tablecloth. You step on a soiled mat with disinfected your shoes, and then go onto another mat, and then get your temperature taken in your forehead or your hand. That's a protocol no matter where I go. And if I have a fever, I can't go in. And it's indicative that you are sick, right? So when we have the flu, we typically have the fever, we have chills. We don't want to be around people. So here in Mexico, I've felt safe. I've been here 5 times, separate times, since I closed on my condo, had to get it all furnished, had to get it all ready. I hired a decorator to help me pick out a couple things here and there. Even that cute little bird back there, he helped me pick out on Wayfair, but I was able to bring a lot of my things from California down here. And I was able to do this without fear. So I think one of the things that I've come to a moment with, just saying, I can't live in fear. If you have faith in God, he already knows your destination. He already knows remember those sayings that your dash has been predetermined if you believe. And some people don't believe. So it's whatever you believe is right for you. I'm just giving you my experience. Steve and I both feel the same way. We are not going to live in fear anymore. My business has been handicapped. I'm going to start 2021 on a happier, lighter note. I can't tell you how many nights I cried saying, I'm going to lose my practice. I don't want to fire my staff. I don't want to make changes in my life. I don't want to sell my house. So when you start realizing that all these things are really affecting your personality, your lifestyle, you've got to kind of pull yourself up. If it takes going on a weekend trip for a couple days with some girlfriends, or wherever you choose, take a car ride to the mountains, wherever you live, whatever makes you happy, you've got to find a way to continue that happiness. Because when I look at the statistics of the depression that's happening right now, it's real. Like, we are all in a very uncomfortable place. So again, I'm an optimistic person. I have been a pessimistic person because I don't know where the light of the tunnel is. Like, how long are we going to stay in this environment? Like, what is going to happen if we have to get injected with the vaccine to make everybody resume back to normal? What does that look like? If we've had the vaccine, does that guarantee us that we'll never get COVID? I haven't gotten that answers on that from all my research. What about if you've had COVID? Do you have to get the vaccine, or should you get the vaccine? It's another area of topic of conversation. And then the flu shots. I mean, I go around, I talk, when my mother was alive, I used to get mad at her that she never got the flu shot. And she said, I am not injecting foreign materials in my arm to prevent one strain of flu when I may get another strain. So she was a big proponent of no flu vaccines. I have been getting the flu vaccine probably for the last 5 years. Steve will not get the flu vaccine. He will not get the COVID vaccine. He said, if I'm going to get COVID, statistically, I'll be recovered in a couple of days or a week. He's one of those statistics that won't die from it because he doesn't have any underlying conditions. But there's always those people that do die that never had underlying conditions. So his belief is, when the Lord wants to take me, he's going to take me. And I don't have that same belief. I believe we can prevent the spread of COVID. I believe that we can do everything we can. If it means taking a vaccine, that's a couple of my doctors. 2 said yes, they're taking it. 2 said no. And these are just not in the actual medical field. One was more of a holistic doctor, but has a doctorate. And then the other one was just something I get my Botox with. So a nurse practitioner. So there's a lot of different viewpoints on this. And I want to hear your viewpoints. So email me, info at vickigunvalson.com, and give me your feedback so I can kind of address what you're feeling and what your thoughts are, because my thoughts may be way off base, but they're my thoughts. And if I can encourage you all to start to try to resume life back to normal, all these restaurants that have closed, all these people that are losing everything they've worked so hard for, it's very hard and very sad to see that. And it's affecting me personally. My income has dropped about 80%. So it's a big number. For people out there listening to this, things like, oh, Vicki's all good. Vicki's a hard worker, middle-class America. I am not sitting on a castle in the sky. You know, I've got a mortgage, I've got car payments, I've got debt. It's like a lot of you. What's really exciting is next week or the week after, I'll let you know when, but we're going to bring the CEO of debt.com on with me. We're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk about how to get out of debt. We're going to talk about how not to get in debt. Don't go on that vacation if you can't afford it. So don't put it on a credit card, because you know what happens there. That never gets paid off, and then the interest is tacking on. So we're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about insurance, which I love. We're going to talk about some fun things that Tamara and I got in the works. We're actually pitching our own new reality show, so pray for that. And I want to hear from you all. I want to have a dual conversation where it's not just me preaching or talking to you about my viewpoints, but I want to read some questions. So I actually have a Financially Fabulous with Vicki free Facebook group. And some of the questions that came in, I'm going to read to you. And they said this: what advice do you have for recovery after Chapter 7 bankruptcy? We address that in our Facebook group, and we also address it on debt.com. So you can go to debt.com, debt.com, and we'll have more information. How much cash should I keep liquid? I'm of the belief it should be 1 year of your bills, but a lot of people can't do that. So whatever your budget is, I would at least say minimum 6 months. How do you determine what kind of life insurance to get? Well, you need a professional to guide you. Back in the day when I started insurance, there was a company called Western Southern Life Insurance. And a lot of the advisors or insurance agents were saying everybody needed permanent insurance, index universal life, and that's not the case. So term means it's for a period of time. Universal life lasts to age 100. So term, you can do like a 10-year term, 20-year term, a 30-year term. After that term ends, insurance is gone. That's good for people that are younger, that have a mortgage. They want to cover that in the case of a death. We'll talk about that in more depth in some of the other podcasts I got coming up. What are the steps taking for planning retirement age 20, 30, 40, 50? On a broad stroke, save more than you ever thought you needed to save, because when retirement comes, we're going to need more money than we ever dreamed of. So if you look at yourself retiring at 60 or 65 or 70, you have a life expectancy possibly to age 90. That could be 30 years in retirement. You better have enough money saved to get you through that. So what states are good for going to that don't have high of taxes in California? Well, actually, Steve and I were just talking about that the other day, because California, as you know, is extremely expensive to live in and high taxes. Florida is a tax-free state. I believe Texas is, Nevada. So, that's the problem. California is getting to be an outbound state where there's a lot of people fleeing California. And the more that this COVID impacts jobs, we're going to see more people fleeing California. Somebody said, what is my daily routine? I've been kind of in a funk lately. My daily routine normally is wake up at 7, because I like to get my 8 hours of sleep. I usually go to bed between 11 and midnight. And then at 7, I get up and I do my Peloton, which is in my home. I haven't been able to go do Orange Theory. I felt my best when I was doing Orange Theory 3 days a week and walking 2 days a week. So kind of got out of that routine. I need to get back in. What keeps me going? My brain. I am my worst and best cheerleader. When I'm feeling down and really depressed and sad, I journal. I then make a to-do or a task list of what can I do to make myself feel better, look better, be better as a partner, mother. It's tough. So it keeps me going. I have a lot of inner strength. And I told you I'm insecure, so that's a tough one. Somebody else says, why is a prenup important? Well, it's everything if you have assets. So if and when Steve and I get married, we are both doing prenups. He has a really strong pension. I've got assets. He's got assets. We never want a divorce. And God forbid if that ever happened, we would walk away clean. We would do a prenup and a postnup. Anything that I acquire in that marriage is mine. Anything that I bring into the marriage is mine. Anything that he has pre and post is his. I don't want to deal with money issues. I dealt with that one other time and it was a nightmare. So you're going in at 20, 25 years old or 30 even, typically you don't have the large assets that you do as you acquire them as you get older. So I think prenup and postnups are super important. Somebody asked me the question, which is good. How do you protect your assets from market risk? So we're going to get into more detail on that, but I use the rule of age minus 100. So if we're 60 years old, which I will be in a year and a few months, minus 100, 60% of my portfolio should be protected, insured. safe. I like fixed index annuities. There's a good reason behind that. They can create an income plan for the rest of your life, like a pension. That 40%, I could put at risk because if the market crashes 50%, I only lose 20% of my portfolio. So I'm going to have some other podcasts about that in the future, but on a broad stroke, I'm not an all-in the market girl. My son invests in Bitcoin. He loves Bitcoin. I think that's for the younger generation. I don't understand it. It's a cryptocurrency. I don't get it. I don't understand it. How do I stop living paycheck to paycheck? Great answer. I think all of us at one time in our life, including me, live paycheck to paycheck. We are very, as we're starting off in our careers, diligent. We want to live the way that we did when we were living with our parents. We want to have the nice house. We want to have the nice car. I've seen people, there's an area by me called Ladera Ranch. And 10 years ago, we had all these 30 to 40-year-old people graduating college, getting married, buying BMWs and Mercedes and buying this $1 million house. And they lost their jobs. And the housing market went down and houses were foreclosed on. Cars were being picked up by the banks. So my advice, live within your means. Save. My dad always used to tell me, save 10 to 20% first, tithe 10%, and live off the other. So if you can live off 70% of your portfolio or your paycheck, however you want to look at that, whether it's a portfolio receiving income or whether it's a paycheck, and then save the rest, 30%, 20%, 10%, then you're living within your means, because when you lose your job or if you have a health issue or if something bad happens to you, you have a reserve to go back to. Okay, so don't spend everything you make is the moral of the story, which you all know that already, but I know we like this stuff, but you can't do it. How much do I need to retire comfortably? I don't know. Do you live on $50,000 a year now? Do you live on $20,000 a year now? Do you live on $200,000 a year now? So these questions are going to be individualized. But what I want to encourage you guys is to, if you're listening and you're excited about what I got coming up, I need advice from you. I need you to tell me what you want me to talk about. I can talk all day long. By the way, I'm just talking to a computer screen and I don't see any of you. But I want to know, what do you want to pick my brain about? Do you want me to talk a lot about Housewives, what it was like to film? Do you want me to talk about some of the scandals that happened on Housewives? Or are you done with it? I'm kind of looking at it as my rearview mirror. I just need some advice. So email me, info@VickiGunvalson.com, VickiGunvalson.com. And I've got a team. We're going to gather these questions. We're going to maybe mention you by name. Say, okay, Susie Q, you said XYZ, and this is my answer for you. So hopefully that will give you some good homework. You got a little bit of homework to do. I want all of you to go to your local CVS or your grocery store or your Walgreens, and I want you to get a big board. They have those cushy bulletin boards that are hard-packed. They're not flimsy. I want you to get a glue stick, and I want you to get a bunch of magazines, and I want you to start cutting your 2021 vision board, cutting pictures out, cutting friendships, cutting groups, churches, the vaccine curing COVID with a big circle and a line through it. Let's get rid of it. If you want to travel, put a picture of an airplane. If you want to go boating, put a picture of a boat. Create your 2021. I'm going to encourage all of you to do that. I have started mine. I'm not done, but I'm going to be doing that with you. So that's our homework assignment until next week or the following week. And then we're going to kind of hear from you. What did you think of it? Okay, so you want to do family, career, personal. Maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to gain weight. I know a lot of us gained weight over COVID. I think I got 7 pounds on right now. I lost it all in November. I think I creeped it on. I haven't been on the scale yet, but you can't help it around here with chips and guacamole and margaritas. So I'm going to get back in the swing of things when I get back to California next week. But in the meantime, I want to personally thank all of you. I know that there's a lot of podcasts out there, but if we get some good reviews and lots of likes and lots of sharing, I'll be staying on. So I'm trusting all of you will do that for me. So don't forget to whoop it up. Thanks you guys for tuning in, and have a great week.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong. Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance. Cognitive function. Powerful liver support. Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
One of your best defenses against COVID is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the market.